Hope you had a good weekend. We're glad to have you watching CNN Student News on this Monday, January 13th. First up today, Israel is holding a memorial service for a former prime minister. Here are 3 things to know about Ariel Sharon. 1, he was a successful army general who later led the country from 2001 to 2006. Much of his focus during that time was on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. His actions included ordering airstrikes on Palestinian security forces and later holding peace talks with Palestinian leaders. 2, Sharon had the reputation of being a fearless leader who could get things done. To many Israelis, he was a popular hero. To some in the Arab world, he was a killer. We'll have more on that in a moment. 3, Sharon's leadership was cut short. He had a major stroke in 2006 that effectively ended his service as prime minister. He stayed in a coma until his death on Saturday at age 85.
In a flag-draped casket, Ariel Sharon enters the Israeli Knesset, the parliament, for the very last time. As a nation mourns the death of a man whose presence was felt, for better or for worse, in the life of every Israeli.
He built Israel. He is Israel. He was Israel. He was the head, the heart, everything.
Few knew that better than his old friend and sometimes rival Shimon Peres, Israel's 90-year-old president, who was the first to pay his respects. Afterwards, thousands of well-wishers filed through to light candles, to take pictures, to ponder what his passing meant. Among them, many who had fought in Israel's long succession of wars.
All his life, he fight for Israel.
He was an exception in a way because he's known as the bulldozer because he got his way and he made things happen. And now he's well respected for that.
But on the other side of this divided land, a mirror image. In Gaza, which was under Sharon's iron-fisted control when he headed Israel's Southern Command, one man's hero is another man's villain. He was a criminal and his hands are covered in blood, Muhammad tells us. He committed many war crimes and massacres. Was Ariel Sharon a brave warrior and a visionary statesman, or a bulldozer and a butcher? It all lies in the eyes of the beholder. Ben Wiedemann, CNN, Jerusalem.
Our next story today takes us to Haiti. A catastrophic earthquake struck there 4 years ago on January 12th. It made 15% of Haiti's population homeless. And for tens of thousands, life hasn't changed much. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, a Caribbean island nation that didn't have many well-built structures or dependable services to begin with. When a 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit in 2010, it killed hundreds of thousands of people. It sent hundreds of thousands of survivors to camps where conditions were horrible. Dirty water, dirty tents, nowhere to put garbage, gangs, and corruption. Though other countries have sent hundreds of millions of dollars to help, Haiti's problems are still so big and its ability to recover so limited. Aid workers are hoping that the anniversary will once again focus international attention and assistance on Haiti. For today's CNN Student News Roll Call, we're headed out west. It may no longer be wild, but you'll still find some outlaws like the ones at Sisters Middle School in Sisters, Oregon. We've also elected to feature some senators, Carson High School in Carson City, Nevada. And we'll wrap our roll in the Midwest with the Holy Rosary School Rams. They're watching from Evansville, Indiana. The U.S. unemployment rate is one indicator of how the economy is doing. A lower rate is usually considered a good thing because it can mean more Americans are working, but not always. Last Friday, the latest unemployment rate came out. It's 6.7%. That's the lowest it's been in years, but it's only based on the number of Americans looking for jobs. Those who've given up aren't counted. And the jobs picture itself is not a good one. The number of jobs that the U.S. created in December is less than half the number economists had expected. Brianna Keeler explained these figures when they came out on Friday.
It's the number the White House wanted, but not the way they wanted it. The nation's unemployment rate dropping below 7% for the first time since President Obama was elected more than 5 years ago. But economists say the dip is due in part to more Americans giving up looking for work. Today's jobs report was the worst in nearly 3 years, just 74,000 jobs created.
Now we're back to this really frustrating situation where the economy does seem to be picking up some momentum, but it's not leading to a lot of job creation.
That, some say, doesn't help the White House argument that the economy is recovering slowly but steadily, though it does help the administration's push to extend long-term unemployment benefits.
Time for the shout-out. Which term best describes someone who's chosen to help settle a dispute? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it auditor, arbitrator, appraiser, or assessor? You've got 3 seconds. Go. When there's a disagreement between two people or groups, an arbitrator can be brought in to settle it. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
An arbitrator has ruled in a case concerning baseball star Alex Rodriguez, and that ruling will keep him off the field for the upcoming 2014 season. All of it. Rodriguez is one of Major League Baseball's top 5 all-time home run hitters. He's one of its highest paid players, racking up hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts. The third baseman admitted to using illegal performance-enhancing drugs from 2001 to 2003, but he's now fighting accusations that he used them again as recently as 2012. The 38-year-old player for the New York Yankees is appealing the arbitrator's decision.
Alex Rodriguez, a Yankee known for setting records, now has one more. He has the dishonorable distinction of getting hit with the longest suspension for doping in baseball's history, a 162-game suspension, benching him for an entire season and potentially ending the 38-year-old's career. This after baseball's chief arbitrator reduced the initial 211-game suspension MLB imposed on Rodriguez for allegedly using performance-enhancing drugs. Rodriguez releasing a statement saying the number of games sadly comes as no surprise, as the deck has been stacked against me from day one. I have been clear that I did not use performance-enhancing substances, and in order to prove it, I will take this fight to the federal court.
My advice to Alex Rodriguez would be the same advice I gave Lance Armstrong years ago. Just fess up.
Major League Baseball wanted the initial suspension to stand, saying while we believe the original 211-game suspension was appropriate, we respect the decision rendered by the panel and will focus on our continuing efforts on eliminating performance-enhancing substances from our game. Rodriguez went to arbitration after MLB imposed the 211-game suspension, but quickly became frustrated by the process. He spoke out on sports radio after he stormed out of the hearing last November, upset after learning baseball's commissioner, Bud Selig, would not testify about allegations MLB used unethical tactics while investigating Rodriguez. In all, 13 players were suspended last year after MLB found they had used PEDs obtained from the now-defunct Biogenesis Clinic in Florida. All suspended for 50 games except for Milwaukee Brewers right fielder Ryan Braun, who received a 65-game ban. Some, but not all fans saying Rodriguez's punishment was justified.
Like, how do you hand out a 162-game ban to one person and not give anything to all these other people that are doing the same thing? But yeah, I guess it is. If you talk about just A-Rod, yeah, I think it's too harsh.
I think he deserves it. I don't think there should be doping in baseball. It's America's pastime.
Still water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's got to be a lot colder than that to ice up a waterfall. Case in point, this might look like a still photograph, but it's video. The distorted polar vortex that brought last week's frigid blast contributed to a cold, crackly crust around parts of Niagara Falls, kind of like a real-life scene from the movie Frozen. Temperatures here had dropped to -2 degrees Fahrenheit, -20 with the wind chill, and to think the person who captured it was just chilling. It's something so beautiful it's hard not to falls for, but folks who've seen it are like, it's cool, but just what are you looking at? Hope you'll forgive us for that and watch again tomorrow with CNN Student News, showers, more stories, and more puns. I'm Carl Azus.